Ay physician گرفت.
Alright, welcome back to another Assassin's Creed stream. Hey there Max, hey there Maxi, good evening to you guys. I hope you had a great weekend. Hey there AJ, how's it going dude? Welcome in. And yeah, let's have a look at this trailer. So we get in the proper mood here. Currently updating Valhalla, trying to play. Ooh, very nice. When was the last time that you played Valhalla, AJ? Or rather, what was like the last bit of content that you played? Assassination though. That one is actually in Valhalla, like as a reference. Ivan does it like at the start of the game in Norway. so good. Never gets old. Damn, so you have 78 GB to download. That's a whole lot, dude. And you haven't played since August, and you're currently into the French DSC. Hell yeah. How did you like that one so far? It's actually the DSC I enjoy quite a bit because of the unique assassinations. It's a bit like Unity in that regard. But yeah, surprisingly we are going to be playing Assassin's Creed today. Reason is that Assassin's Creed is technically considered a retro game, and we have retro Sundays, of course. And this year I planned on playing, you know, the usual suspects like Sims 2, FIFA Street, and GTA Vice City. But I kind of wanted to continue with the story and finish with the first game today. Maybe even make a start on the second. So yeah, that's what we are going to be playing tonight. Super excited for, because that kind of like transition between 1 and 2 is really good. I was gonna talk later a bit about AC Bloodlines, the game connecting 1 and 2 a little bit more, about the story of Altair and Maria, as well as him having the Apple of Eden. However, we're not gonna be watching the entire video, rather I'm gonna put it in the playlist of a playthrough and just talk about what happens in a few minutes before we go over to AC2 and watch AC Lineage as well. So yeah, that's the plan for tonight, and I'm very excited to get into it. You haven't done any story really, but last time we played you did a lot of side missions to get level up the rebel group. Ah, I gotcha. Yeah, that's definitely a bit of a grindy mechanic, DSC, but it's very worth it, I feel. Get some really good upgrades from the rebel stuff, like the Reaper set, for instance. Ah, very nice, AJ. That sounds good to play something casual, you know, if you want to try it again. And yeah, dude, I've seen you online, but mostly lurking. But I hope you enjoyed some Pokemon. It's actually a gaming series I would like to get back into. I heard Black and White isn't too bad, because I would really like to actually do a playthrough where I get to play as Crocodile, like the Pokemon. And I think that one is on Black and White, isn't it?
Not a lot of time, Vic.
Understand there's a narrow launch window.
Wherever it's hidden, time to retrieve it.
Working on it.
And when it's done,
He'll be taken care of.
I want that progress report by tomorrow morning.
I've got some work I need to do. So you've got the rest of the night to yourself.
Yeah, dude, it's always good to get back to AC1, you know, especially after me having spent so much time with the free newer AC games. Like Valhalla, I've literally been streaming over the course of like 3 months, because I did like 100% right, so I did literally every single thing in the game, like even the small web chest and everything. That took like a whole long time, so yeah, it's actually been almost a year since I last played AC1 on this channel, and it's really good to get back into it. Also get a bit like grounded with, you know, as you say, what all began, kind of like what made the Assassins the way they are. And of course the modern day is also very interesting, the way it sets up the whole like universe.
I think there's a problem with the Animus.
Nope, it's working fine.
I'm pretty sure it just ejected me
I'm
when
pretty sure you should shut up.
You ready to finally tell me what's going on?
We have to stop them, Desmond. When they access that last memory of yours, they're just getting started. They want to change everything. The way we live, the way we think, the way we are. You've gotten the lecture from Vidic about what's wrong with the world, how we need order and discipline, so they're going to give it to us. Only we don't have a say in the matter.
How?
The Templar Treasure. They think it...
Miss Stillman?
I'm here.
I need you to upload Desmond's files to the database.
Got it.
Wanted to do that, but when you saw the stone balance things, it was like maybe not 100%. I mean, I don't blame you, dude. Was really tricky sometimes. And yeah, there were certainly like some moments that made it a bit frustrating. I'm mostly fine with the cairnstones, but yeah, there's definitely like a few. It also made me rage a little. But the most annoying thing for me were the river raids, I think, because they're just entirely grindy. And yeah, kind of just like, you know, the events and festivals, I don't know. I'd rather have like quests and get the tokens for that than having to spend endless rounds like contests. Just for the sake of like grinding materials, you know. I don't know. I guess that's just a personal preference though. Like, you know, every time there's no actual major story involved, I'm like, yeah, not too interested. That's why collectibles that don't really have anything to give in that regard, or at least something nice, visual, cosmetic, I'm not too interested in.
Assassino!
Assassino. Hey, I'm the Brotherhood. Welcome in, dude. Hope you had a good weekend. And indeed, back to AC1 for Retro Sundays. I was like, AC1 is actually 15 years old in this year, and it's on a discontinued platform. So that counts as a retro game, doesn't it? So I found a cheeky way to kind of like make me play some AC1 today. Didn't do much of the event stuff, it just didn't seem important. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, unless you want to have like absolutely all the items, or you like a specific weapon or item set lot, then events are pretty uninteresting. Like the story stuff is mostly, you know, just event related. There's no actual importance to the overall
Where is Charles Lee?
storyline. Hey, Valevi. Yeah, it's been just a few years. But yeah, it also makes me feel a bit old, kind of like, you know, thinking back when I first learned about AC. But that's like, you know, 15 years away, or like in the past at this point. But at the same time, it's kind of like incredible how well the game holds up, you know, given like how old it actually is.
So what? You're using me to find this Templar treasure? What do they call it? The Piece of Eden?
Yes.
Well, it's looking like it's at Messiah, so I don't know why they're wasting all this time with me. Why don't they just send their people to pick it up?
They can't. It's not that simple. The artifact from Messiah, they had it. It was destroyed in the accident.
Then what are they hoping for me? You know, for my ancestor to tell them?
They're hoping he'll show them where the other ones are.
You mean there's more than one of these things?
Oh, Desmond, you have no idea.
Is there a problem, Miss
No,
Stillman?
Warren. Everything's Denver on my end.
Then, where are the files?
I've got to move these files before he gets suspicious. We'll talk more later.
Yeah, it really does look so good. Then we're gonna head over to AC2, and that's gonna look even better. But there was just something I love with the AC games in general, kind of like seeing the graphical upgrade through all the different games. But all of the games still look good on their own, like no matter when they came out. Just all have like their own aesthetic, I guess. But yeah, it's going really good. Already had my pizza earlier. Kind of want to eat a bit earlier so I could stream also earlier. Because yeah, I wanna get quite a few things done today for AC. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Yeah, did you have your Mama Leone and Via Lambre as well, Levi?
Wait, what's that mean? Everything's Denver.
It means everything's fine.
Why Denver?
It's a reference to Denver International Airport. There's an underground facility there. It's where the accident happened.
Via Lambre and Yusufuno. That's fair. I mean, they're quite fitting, to be fair. What is my favorite addition, new thing each game added? For instance, you love that the AC2 added the income building mechanic. So I guess you mean like anything that the game adds? Like it doesn't have to be only a gameplay mechanic, but it can also be like, for example, something related to like soundtrack or stuff. Or does it have to be like a specific category? But yeah, no worries, I can definitely answer the question. Just have to think about it a little, I guess.
Aren't you tired?
Aren't you tired? Keep soundtrack away, but things like new mechanics, new features, or new looks of the lore. Ah, okay. Okay. So for AC2 would definitely have to be the focus on the kind of like overarching timeline. You know, in AC1 there's like a lot of talk about the ones that came before, and of course they have like the whole animal setup. In AC2 you really learn about like both what happens in the modern day or what happened like also in the 20th century. But through the glyphs you also learn a whole lot more about the other timelines. And with you know, you also like holding the Apple of Eden at the end with Ezio and finding out about you know, Jesus and Midi Minerva, all the type of stuff I think really added to the overall universe. But also like, you know, other things like the assassins in the sanctuary, which also enabled like more timelines and stuff. I think it really set up the whole universe in both regards, and like how many storylines could be made from everything that AC2 kind of like created. For Brotherhood would definitely have to be the Brotherhood mechanic, like, you know, building your own Brotherhood and using them in battle, kind of like becoming a mentor. In Revelations, Revelations kind of similar to AC2 in the regard that how it connects the storylines is really well done. But other than that, Revelations doesn't add too much, does it? Like, it's not really a groundbreaking game, because it's just like trying to optimize what AC2 and 1 and Brotherhood already have done. I mean, I really do enjoy the bombs, like the bomb system, and having like a bigger focus on the variety of bombs. That's quite unique to Revelations. Assassin's Creed 3 would definitely have to be the wildlife. in kind of like how realistic they created nature. You know, like from the snow and how heavy it is to just like the wildlife behavior and the hunting mechanics and stuff. Like, that team did such a good job. They got hired for Red Dead 2 to do the wildlife there and the snow mechanics, which tells you a lot. So I think that's a really outstanding part of AC3. Also, like, you know, like just like nature traversal with the trees and stuff. But also, of course, the homestead, you know, was like a big part. Having like a home base and kind of like having people to live there. Although concept for a home base isn't new, but having like so much story related to it was definitely something unique. In Black Flag, it would have to be the way the open world interacted with each other. Like, you know, having no loading screens between like the islands and Nevo. Just like the way the game world was created, like both visually but also from a gameplay perspective, like it always makes you do something, I guess. But yeah, just like the flawless traversal between the two is really good. For you, you think AC2 adding the income mechanic, then Brotherhood adding the Borscht House and restoring regions, Revelations, you like the Hook Blade? Didn't use the bombs at all in Revelations, Levy? You didn't? I mean, that's fair. I didn't until I, you know, really got into Revelations, like after my second or third time. Like, they're really useful, it's just they don't do the best job explaining this system. So you can get a bit overwhelmed and then, you know, don't bother spending too much time on it. Like the Frontier hunting crafting, when Black Flag was the naval part, Rogue was the I make my own luck. In Unity's fluidity, Arno showed in his parkour much more on edge movements, and it was the ability to choose how to kill the target. Interesting. In Unity, I would also have to say the parkour for sure. But also the unique assassinations, because that's really something that Unity first has done in a varied way, right? But Syndicate also has done that aspect really well. I think Syndicate did a pretty good job bridging between modern and historical times, right? It almost felt like a modern day game, given how close in time we were and how far technology was advanced. But yeah, it still felt like historical enough, I guess. And I mean, Origins just really refreshed the series, right? Like, you may think about the new RPG mechanics, what you want, but Origins really kind of like changed the game without sacrificing lore or anything like that. So that's something I will always appreciate Origins for, because it did change the gameplay, yes, but the gameplay changes made sense for the time and the character. You still had like really strong lore and kind of like even gameplay stuff that made sense also for playing as an assassin. And also like going that far back in the timeline, you know. Whereas all the games before that were always like going more towards modern day. Like playing in an ancient time like that was also very unique. Yeah, that's fair, Levy. I mean, that's the thing, right? Just with like so many mechanics and things and tools, you definitely don't need to use all of them. You can just like choose your own playstyle. Origins was Valorant Editions. Odyssey was the ability to really spec out your character, how you wanted, like good chance and good damage. In Valhalla, you're not done yet, so to be determined. Favorite thing in Origins was learning about the history behind the thing and the logo. Yeah, it was definitely cool how Origins really tried to give reasons for how things originated. Things that were always in question. You could argue they overdone it a little bit because of like how many things are being explained, but given that it's like one of the only chances, I think, for a long time for a game to explain all those stuff, I think it's a good decision to show like the origin of not only the Brotherhood, but so many things attached to it. So yeah, was really good in that regard as well. Ava Diva, welcome in. Good evening. I hope you had a good weekend. Welcome to some AC. But yeah, Odyssey. I mean, Odyssey is a tricky one for me, as you might know, AJ. What did Odyssey add to the series that I really enjoyed? I would say the transmog system. I do think not having a transmog system is fine, you know, because it always means like, okay, certain visuals have certain benefits and sacrifices. So kind of like, you know, have to find a compromise, but not everybody wants to do that. Sometimes it is nice to kind of like choose your own, you know, visuals and outfits and stuff without sacrificing damage or something. So I think the transmog system was good for the whole, like, you know, choose your own kind of like thing. And Valhalla for me would definitely have to be the Isolor. Like the way Valhalla added to that aspect was insane. Especially the whole like Sage thematic. Valhalla was like one of the best games in that regard, to me at least. Okay, so it's afternoon for you. AC is the series you love, especially since your memory is crap and you can play it more than once and still don't remember crap. I mean, that's fair, Diva. There's like so many things I remember and other things where I'm just like, ah, right, that happened. It's also like so much of a series, right? Like so many different character stories. It's easy to forget stuff. But yeah, I think we have a chance now to have a look into the laptops here. We have some emails. Let's have a look. Okay, we did read this. Did read that. Okay, so this is actually a new email. It actually has been in the trash. So we're gonna have a look here what and how the conversation started. But this is basically a conversation between Lucy and an assassin. That's kind of like unnamed. Jesus, how far does this go down? Okay. Valhalla's finally updated. Hell yeah. I mean, for 20 GB it went fairly fast, didn't it? What's like your downloading speed, AJ? But yeah, that's good. I hope you enjoy some more Valhalla. Either you still have to finish catching up on Valhalla, you haven't even finished the Siege of Paris, never mind the newest stuff. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like Valhalla just adds and adds so much stuff on top of what's already there. And yeah, like it took me ages to actually finish Valhalla 100%. I've already played it quite a bit. You have 1 GB internet. Damn, AJ. That's quite nice. Okay, so the unnamed assassin says to Lucy, need info on DIA event. Lucy says, at least 20 dead in accident, assume this is site of launch. If not launch, then certainly assembly should try and infiltrate. So by launch they mean that the Templars are basically trying to send a satellite into the universe that's attached to the Apple of Eden, so they can, you know, access multiple devices and perform mind control in the process. Lucy, the unnamed assassin says, what is the purpose of launch? Lucy says, low Earth orbit transmitter for artifacts, extension of conditioned response experiments from 5 years ago. If successful, they control everything. So it refers to what I just said. What do you mean everything? Our minds. What about Desmond? We're using him to locate another artifact. I have been delaying, but they are close now. That's basically implying they already have an apple, but obviously they want to have another one. Does he know about us? No. Good, keep him away for now. Lucy says, can you send rescue? Then we have an email from Faster Shipper Mets. Subject, problems down there? Wonder why does everyone laugh at you? I let you guess. Let's just say she's probably getting it bigger and better from someone else that isn't you. How can you hope to compete? Rest assured, there are some good ways. Click the link to see. So kind of like impersonating kind of like spam email, you know, that's trying to kind of like get you a virus or something. But if you just look at the capitalized letters, then you can find the message behind the message. So it says, we will be either, yeah, we'll be there soon. That's basically the message it says here, if you just read the capitalized letters instead of small ones. You have to go back and find stuff still. Yeah, that's fair. So Diva, since you played so many AC games, do you have a favorite? Yeah, that can be tricky, AJ. Like even switching from one AC game to another, it's always like a struggle. Remembering the exact pattern because all the games have like a different control scheme. Okay, so we did read this, but we didn't read that daily headline. Tension mounts over Antarctic drilling. The US and the EU are once again facing heavy criticism for their decision to begin construction of jointly owned oil platforms in the Weddell Sea. Several supranational unions oppose the work, claiming it violates the Antarctic Treaty System. The situation has been further complicated by the presence of two naval destroyers, said to be in the region for reasons unrelated to their construction. Watching this for now, you want to play 2 in Brotherhood again. I mean, I'm super stoked for 2 in Brotherhood. Actually, I'm really stoked for Brotherhood because last time I did like a no upgrade playthrough, which meant I skipped a lot of the side content. But this time I want to do like 100% run or something, or at least like all the missions and all the renovations and stuff like that. Okay, that's the email that Lucy wrote to Rickon regarding Layla, an employee that Abstergo actually killed off. And Rickon just responded, I will be out of the office starting September 1st. I will return on October 4th. In case of an emergency, please contact my assistant, Aubrey Jacobs of extension 10003. Brotherhood Levy. Yeah, your favorite AC game, isn't it? Hey, Absolute. Welcome in, dude. If you remember last time you did Brotherhood, your game kept crashing when you tried to fight Cesare, so you never even got to finish the playthrough. Or did it? That's really odd, dude. I wonder if it was connected to VSync at all. Because that fight is kind of like having a lot of issues once VSync is turned off, I think. But sometimes also locking your frame rate to 60 also helps. But yeah, it's kind of like tricky with Brotherhood. There's like quite a few bugs related to to that thing. And Rickon writes to Warren. "You told me she wasn't going to be a problem, and here she is stirring up the shit again. Deal with this, Warren. You vouch for her, you're responsible for her." So, basically confirming that they indeed killed off Layla, and they don't want Lucy to find out, obviously, because otherwise it will stir up even more shit. Okay, and then we got this classified information email that we already have read. And then Henry Lehman writes to Warren Vidic regarding classified information. "Guess the shit's really hit the fan this time. Someone managed to leak a bunch of documents on the fluoride enhancement studies, and now the Pharmaceuticals Division is under investigation by the feds. They shut the entire place down. Did you see what was in those reports? What the hell were they thinking? They pretty much poisoned an entire town." So that's kind of like an experiment that Abstergo did with the water supply. And I believe it was Sean who actually did do the leak about the fluoride accident. Then we got an email from Jane Burkham to Warren Vidic. Subject: "Everything okay? Wow, you've been watching the news? Stock is going to take a hit from this for sure. Want to grab lunch today?" And then Rickon says, "It's about those idiots in the Pills Division. We're putting out a press release above the satellite, telling them launch has been delayed until the 21st so that we can make improvements to the coverage area. Some stuff about less dropped calls. For the benefit of our consumers, of course. Let's just make sure you get what you need in time to meet the new launch window." So in this case, the 21st of December. Okay, so then we got an email from Alan Rickon to Warren Vidic again. Subject: updates. Warren, I have downloaded our analysis of our latest findings onto the secure terminal in the conference room. It is critical that you review it and get back to us with any additional comments. We cannot continue with the search until you sign off. Please make this a priority. Rickon. Vidic says can't access the computer, wants a password. Rickon says I cover security for you. Check your email shortly. Password 000-62677. So that's how we get access to the computer in the conference room, which has like basically the most important information because it's basically insight into the plans of Abstergo with the different kinds of like pieces of Eden. And it kind of reveals there's much more than just like the apple, right? There's like kind of like artifacts or tools that allow you to see like shortly into the future, into like a possible outcome. Essentially, it's like a prediction device, something that the ESA also used to predict the 21st of December, but also their own kind of like catastrophe, but also events like when Desmond would be at a specific place, or when Ezio would be in the vault and stuff like that. You just started, but then you're gonna switch over and play AC2 now. It's too tempting. I mean, that's fair. I don't blame you, dude. Also much less of a time investment, which can also be nice. Another daily headline. Hundreds hospitalized in wake of water tampering scandal. Abstergo Holdings stand accused of secretly manipulating its small town's water supply in order to test a synthetic drug referred to internally as new fluoride. Nation mourns the loss of final film studio. History was made today with the closing of the country's last movie studio. Rising prominence of video games coupled with rampant piracy are considered to be the leading causes of its demise. So that's kind of like a cheeky way to make a statement about video games becoming more realistic and more interactive and fun than movies. So this being 5 years in the future from 2007, they kind of like say, yeah, like in 5 years, you know, movies are not gonna be important anymore, but more, of course, like a joke, not seriously. Until the excitement wears off. Yeah, that's that will never end. But yeah, I'm gonna be online for quite a bit actually. Let me have a look at the clock here. So yeah, probably for like another 4 to 5 hours at least. Gonna be streaming well into the late evening here. I could play from here all the way until Rogue before getting annoyed. Skipping AC3 of course. Yeah, I mean, even including AC3. But I would definitely get annoyed at Rogue. That much is sure. Are you here to look at the book? Yeah, it's good that you can skip that optional dialogue and just go straight to the chest and pick up the money there. It's always funny when people like Claudia repeats the same thing over and over. Yeah, like the AJ isn't the biggest fan of AC3. But yeah, AC3 is just a very dividing game. I feel like you either love it or hate it. So we still can't go into this room, right? But yeah, that's basically the conference room. And over where we have a laptop. We can't access the room yet, but we have access to a laptop, so just got advance of modern day, and then we will be back for more emails and stuff. He's already seeing the signs with eagle vision.
Time's wasting, Mr. Miles.
Yeah, I'm coming.
We're nearly done, you know.
And then what?
You'll see. Maybe they'll even let you watch when it begins. It's not as terrible as you think.
Look, I know you're not gonna let me leave. So why not tell me what's going on? Humor me.
I'm not an idiot, Mr. Miles. I think you've already learned quite a bit.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Of course not.
All right, let me ask you something else then.
Yes?
Some of the stuff I'm seeing in the Animus, sometimes it seems wrong. Untrue, like the history is off somehow. It doesn't...
It doesn't what, Mr. Miles? Match up with what you read on an online encyclopedia? What your high school history teacher taught you? Let me ask you something. Do these supposed experts have access to secret knowledge kept hidden from the rest of us?
There are books, letters, documents, all sorts of source material from back then. Some of it seems to contradict what the Animus is showing me.
Anyone can write a book, and they can put whatever they want on its pages. Anything. Used to be, we thought the world was flat.
Some people still do.
Yes, and they publish books about it. Or that the moon landing was a hoax. I believe there's also a book claims the world was created in 7 days. A bestseller, too.
Where's this going, Doc?
The point, I suppose, is that you shouldn't trust everything you hear, everything you read. What's that your ancestors said? Nothing is true?
Everything is permitted.
Yes, exactly. It's part of what makes the Animus so spectacular. There's no room for misinterpretation.
There's always room.
Touché, Mr. Miles. Now that I've answered your question, can we begin?
Used to be, people thought the Earth was flat. Some people still do. Yes, and they write books about it. I love that aspect because it kind of like, you know, says that there's still like obviously a lot of misinformation being spread. And it's not too different from how it was sometimes also in history. From that angle, it looks as if he was talking to someone invisible, or no one for that matter. Yeah, like he's losing his mind more and more. He's seeing stuff and talking to people. Right, time to get back into the Animus. One more target to go, I believe.
Use the scholars you have rescued to pass
Meet my student. We have much to discuss. We are close, Altair. Robert de Sable is now all that stands between us and victory. It is his mouth gives the orders. His hand pays the gold. With him dies the knowledge of the Templar Treasure and any threat it might pose.
I still don't understand how a simple bit of treasure could cause so much chaos.
The Piece of Eden is temptation given form. Merely look at what it's done to Robert. Once he tasted of its power, the thing consumed him. He saw not a dangerous weapon to be destroyed, but a tool. One that would help him realize his life's ambition.
He dreamed of power then.
Yes and no. He dreamed, still dreams. Like us, of peace.
But this is a man who sought to see the Holy Land consumed by war.
No, Altair. How can you not see when you're the one that opened my eyes to this?
What do you mean?
What do he and his followers want? A world in which all men are united. I do not despise his goal. I share it. But I take issue with the means. Peace is something to be learned, to be understood, to be embraced.
He would force it.
And rob us of our free will in the process.
Strange to think of him in this way.
Never harbor hate for your victims, Altair. Such thoughts are poison and will cloud your judgment.
Could he not be convinced then to end his mad quest?
I spoke to him in my way through you. What was each killing if not a message? But he has chosen to ignore us.
Then there's only one thing left to do.
Jerusalem is where you faced him first. It's where you'll find him now. Let this final offering lend you strength. Go, Altair. It's time to finish this.
Ability gained, sword expertise. New weapons gained, extra throwing knives. Oh yeah, I got the shoulder throwing knives. I love that addition to the look, and what's really cool and a nice detail in AC1 is you always find the exact number of throwing knives on his belt and shoulder edge. And it will kind of be like accurately represented to the amount that you have. So it's kind of a neat detail. Yana vs. Devi. Blade wielding Altair, the one and only. Empathy baking Altair. Time to meet Malik.
Use sharp turns or climb.
Safety and peace, Altair.
Upon you as well, brother.
Seems fate has a funny way with things.
So it's true then. Robert de Sable is in Jerusalem.
I've seen the knights myself.
Only misfortune follows that man. If he's here, it's because he intends ill. I won't give him the chance to act.
Do not let vengeance cloud your thoughts, brother. We both know no good can come of that.
I have not forgotten. You have nothing to fear. I do not seek revenge, but knowledge.
Truly, you are not the man I once knew.
My work has taught me many things, revealed secrets to me. But there are still pieces of this puzzle I do not possess.
What do you mean?
All the men I've laid to rest have worked together, united by this man. Robert has designs upon the land. This much I know for certain. But how and why, when and where, these things remain out of reach.
Crusaders and Saracens working together?
They are none of these things, but something else. Templars.
The Templars are a part of the Crusader army.
Or so they'd like King Richard to believe. No, their only allegiance is to Robert de Sable and some mad idea that they will stop the war.
You spin a strange tale.
You have no idea, Malik. But tell me where they've been seen. I should be after him before he slips away.
3 places I can say for certain. West of here, near both a guard tower and a hospital. And to the southwest, at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. See what you can learn. I will do the same.
I'll be quick as I can.
Stay safe, my friend.
Ava Bailey, welcome in. Thank you for joining. I hope you're having a good day so far. Wonder if he says anything. That's interesting. So at the start of the game and for a second assassination, he would actually like, you know, roast you, like, you have better things to do, stop wasting my time and yours. And now he's not really being bothered too much by you spending more time in the bureau. Okay, so we have Middle District in Jerusalem. Let me actually go ahead and open up my map as well. Okay, good. So we have 3 Templars left, which means the last 3 are actually in that district. I was actually like, didn't I have 4 left? But no, it's 3. Yeah, I had a good day, Bailey. Enjoying some more AC for the night, which I'm very stoked about. Was very close to finishing off the game, so yeah, I might even start AC2 tonight. Yeah, with a flex, I would be still playing this game for another 3 streams or so. If not more.
Go away.
Help me! Please! Someone do something! Why are you doing this? What are you doing? At this point, all I ask is for a reason for him to do that.
إذا رأيتموه لا تدعوه يخرج. إذا رأيتموه لا تدعوه. نحن نعرف شيء.
I'm so hungry. Just a little money, I beg of you. No, you don't understand. I have nothing.
انتبهوا جيد.
Please, can't you spare something? I'm poor and sick and hungry. Please,
You again?
have any money? I beg of you. I beg of you, just a few coins. Please. No, please don't.
Now there's two of them.
I'm so hungry. Please. Just a little money, I beg of you. My family's sick and dying.
Good to see you,
Could
brother.
spare a few
I trust you're here
coins?
for the funeral. Or for Robert, rather. I've kept my eyes and ears open, but I've nothing to report. Things are quiet here. Perhaps Tariq has seen or heard something you can use. He's stationed not far from here. Go to him. See what knowledge he has.
I beg of you. No, please don't leave. Just a few coins. Just a few coins. Please.
It's Chris. Double feature there.
Excellent timing, Altair. I found something you'll find quite useful. Orders for Robert's guards. This map I've made will show you where he intends to station them. Put it to good use.
Quite a map detailing Robert's position during the funeral. The Jerusalem guards have set up their standing positions for the Christians during the procession to better protect them in case the citizens take offense to their presence. This map displays exactly where everyone is standing, even Robert, especially Robert.
أنتم تتبعون إلها زائدا.
Don't hurt me, please!
I beg of you.
Gözünüzü dört açın, geri dönecek.
Just a few coins, please. No, you don't understand.
So we have to avoid these conflict groups, because the leader is actually able to recognize us. He will take us on sight. Jesus, that woman is like throwing swords at us. Stop it. It's like, you don't want to give me money? And take these stones.
You must not trespass here. Away with you. You are not allowed to be here.
Jesus. Jump. Yeah, that didn't look very healthy. I think he's broken his back.
Geçen sefer şanslıydım. Ama bu sefer değil.
Okay, so something inside this building. Let's climb back up here.
What is that man thinking? You shouldn't be here. Be gone.
Turn back now.
No, you don't understand. I have nothing.
Take the map I've given you and see that the guards are placed accordingly. We'll be safe enough during the procession. It's the burial that worries me. Easy for our enemies to hide amongst the crowd.
If you're so concerned, why not post your own men? Search the site yourselves.
Our presence here has caused enough chaos. I can only imagine how the people would react, seeing Crusader soldiers marching across their holy ground.
Then perhaps you should not attend at all.
He was our friend and brother, and we will honor him as he passes from this world. You insult me by suggesting otherwise.
I'll post the men. I don't want trouble either.
Then stop trying to make it, and do as you've been asked.
Take yourself from my sight.
I'm so hungry. Just a little money.
Leave now and I'll let you live.
Please, sir, have any money?
Fuck, there's a Templar.
Something? I'm poor and sick and hungry. I need food.
Jesus Christ. Templar could have seen us. Okay, I wanna find this Templar quick. There he is.
Please, can't you spare something? I'm poor and sick and hungry.
What the fuck? Wait, it wasn't the actual Templar? Was clothed exactly like a Templar? Robert's men are working with the Jerusalem guards to protect the cemetery during Majdalin's funeral. Doubling the guard would have posed a problem. This map would give me an advantage. Knowing where the men are stationed, I can simply make sure I avoid them. Imagine just existing, suddenly looking up and just seeing someone in assassin robe staring down at you. Yeah, probably try to escape very quickly. Or just sitting on the bench and watching someone get stabbed right in front of you. Being like, oh wow, yeah, just another day in paradise.
Where is the one responsible? Why are you doing this? Please! You're hurting me!
Dediğimizi yaparız, tamam mı?
Don't hurt me, please! He just killed someone! I need help! Please, anyone!
Templar, hey there. Wait.
Geber kafir!
Okay, so we got one to the west. So I'll check it off my list as well. No citizens were saved during this playthrough. At least not a whole lot. But yeah, it's like one of the things where I said like, okay, I'm not gonna do that for this playthrough. At least not all of them.
a reason for this nonsense?
I'm just working out. That's the reason.
Did you see them? No, but I've heard the whispers. Is it true? Crusader Knights in Jerusalem?
It is.
And?
Different from the others. Finely dressed and bearing expensive gifts.
We should relieve them of this burden.
They've made camp near David's citadel, close to the cemetery.
To attend a funeral?
So it seems.
Then let us visit their camp while they pay their respects.
A bandit men walk the streets of Jerusalem, finely dressed, bearing expensive gifts. I planned to attend a funeral. Were it anyone other than the monster Machadin being buried, I might have second thoughts. But as it is, it seems the most fitting time to take the Templar's life. Psych, might as well kill him on the funeral of another Templar target.
He'll hurt someone at his feet. There is no reason for doing that.
Come no further.
Seni gözün kapalı bile yeter.
What the fuck? This guy got launched into the air. See that? Jesus Christ. Like I ramped with one guy into the other and then he got launched into the air. The IT working out in front of him had them very upset. Yeah, exactly. We're working out a lot here.
For too long we have drawn lines across the land, spilled the blood of those we once called friends. We have all suffered because of this. But now we are offered a chance at redemption, a chance to begin anew. Let us make peace with the Crusaders. Let us live as one. For too long we have drawn lines across the land, spilled the blood of those we once called friends.
Please, can't you
We have all
something?
suffered
I'm poor
because
and
of
sick
this.
and hungry.
But now
No,
we are
please,
offered a
please.
chance at
Just a few
redemption.
coins,
A
please.
chance to begin anew. Let us make
My
peace with
family
the
has been
Crusaders.
dying.
Let us
Could you
live
spare a few
as
coins?
one. We must be strong, we must be brave, and we must find the courage to face those we
All I
once
ask
called our
is for a
enemies
few
and now
coins.
instead
I need
call them
food.
friends.
I'm so hungry.
The Crusaders
Just a
come to
little money,
Jerusalem,
I beg of
bringing
you.
with them an opportunity to end the fighting, to stop
Please,
the war.
sir, have any money?
That we may stand
No,
as
you don't
one.
understand.
We
I
must
have
not
nothing.
turn them away.
Please, sir, have any money? just a few coins, please. I beg of you. I beg of you, just a few coins, please. My family sick and dying. Could you spare a few coins? A few coins. All I ask is for a few coins.
Dude, stop asking me.
You'll pay for that! How dare you! He's trying to kill me! Someone save me from this madman! He's trying to kill me! You won't get away with this! That was unwise! Don't kill me!
You speak of peace, but your words are hollow.
No, I speak the truth. Why would you say other?
You're a Templar.
So I am.
Then you are also a liar and a fraud, just like your master. Where is he? What does he intend?
It's peace he seeks, I swear it. And the proof is in his actions. A Christian at a Muslim's funeral. We want an end to all of this.
Only because it serves your needs.
But this is a noble thing we want. The land will be united beneath our banner.
United through force. You'd enslave us all.
It is for the best.
No, it's not. And so long as my brothers and I breathe, you will not succeed.
What are Robert's true motives? Robert wants peace and seeks to prove it by attending a Muslim funeral. But I know the truth. He does not seek peace but control, dominion over the land and its people. I will deny him this. AJ, such a good intro. Ubisoft presents Assassin's Creed 2. Dude, that moment. At the moment I played that quest, you know, and I heard Federico and Ezio talk to each other. Like it's a good lead we lead, brother. The best mate never change, the mate never challenged us. I was like, hell yeah. Like, you know, that's something special. Levy, the poor and sick and hungry lady who drops heart. Yeah, they're always there to ruin the good dialogue. Biggest enemy of all in AC, a single flying rock. Yeah, dude. It's kind of funny how long it flies in the cutscene and then still hits Ezio. And that's also like a permanent scar he's gonna have forever. It's kinda also makes sense, you know, kind of like as a memory before everything, you know, went to shit, essentially. Reminding him of his past life. A Templar.
Kime boyun eğmek istiyorsun? Gel buraya.
You want more to go? The last one is actually down here.
is he doing that?
Safety and peace, Master. Have you seen all the vile Templars in town? I have been ordered to kill as many as I can before the burial of your latest victim, Majd Udin. I am sure if it were your mission, it would be done in no time. I have learned much while looking for those Templars. I will share valuable information with you when you get back.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of targets here. I'm gonna unpack that for a sec, so we can have a better view on the targets.
Stop it, please! You're hurting me! You don't understand. Please, can't you spare something? I'm
Wrong timing.
Have any money? My family is dying. Could you spare a few coins?
Yeah, there you go, take some coins from a Templar. Sure he has some.
All I ask is for a few coins. All I ask is for a few coins. I need food.
Fuck.
I'm so hungry. Just a
Close for them, close. Almost got detected there. Because that was like one of the leaders. Jesus Christ.
Or I'll make you.
King. Yes, yeah.
What? What is it that you want? What happened to this poor soul?
I know now why I joined our clan. Just to be in your presence is a gift from God. This is what I have learned about Robert's men. They are well prepared for battle. To fight them all at once would be unwise. Better to let them chase you for a while before striking back. But it is disrespectful for me to tell a master how he should behave in combat. Forgive me, Master.
Don't face all of Robert's men at once. Robert's men are well prepared for a battle. To fight them all at once would be unwise. Should I lose control of the situation, it's best I make a brief escape and return later to eliminate them one by one. I think I might actually try to do that. Like maybe try to just like escape and go you know, unseen, then try to still go for the target, because the target should still be in reach. Never really try that, I just go directly for the target and try to counter Assassin Blade, but I think this time I try to escape and then come back, actually. Right, let's go for the last Templar.
What a fool!
You ever see someone do that before? I haven't.
No, you don't understand. I have nothing.
Away with you.
You have no business here.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
Why is he doing that?
He's going to cause trouble.
Dude, I bet. Yeah, PC Gaming Wiki was actually saying that the game also has issues with mouse acceleration. so it's really not intended to be played with mouse and keyboard at all. However, I did play it back then on mouse and keyboard like all the time since I didn't have a controller. So I still was like fine with it, but it's certainly better with a controller, I would say. There we go. 60 out of 60 Templars eliminated. Oh, yeah. What the was that jump? Hey there, OGN. Bought Valhalla because of me and it was the best decision. Oh yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I'm happy I could, you know, inspire you to get the game and enjoy it as well. What are you currently doing in Valhalla?
My family's sick and dying. Could you spare a few coins?
Couldn't play with mouse and keyboard because the weapon wheel completely broke and you couldn't select any weapon at all, no matter which way. Yeah, it's kinda a shame. Like there's a fix for that, but it's a shame that the game doesn't like support it natively. No worries, OGN. I was curious to hear how far into the game you are and what you're currently doing in Valhalla.
I beg of you, just a few coins, please.
I wonder what scared him.
Altair, my friend, you must help me. Malik has tasked me with killing several archers posted in the region, so that our brothers might move around more easily. Normally, it wouldn't be a problem, but this funeral has everyone on edge. The city guard has dispatched its best men to keep the peace, and I simply don't have the skill to remove them. I'd ask two favors of you then. First, to kill the bowmen, and second, to not tell Malik of my failure. In exchange, I'll see what I can learn of Robert's plans.
Stealth assassinate all the archers and return to the informer without becoming exposed. Right. You are back from Asgard. Very nice. How did you enjoy the Asgard part so far? Something I was a bit unsure of first, but then I ended up really enjoying it. That was close. Almost got detected there. I would assume you have to go to the table again, kind of like to the map at Renvies, and kind of like pledge to the next area, OGN. It's usually the way to start the next main mission. The next game is AC Black Flag Part 2, Edward Strikes Back. Yeah, I wouldn't mind the continuation of Edward, actually. I think he's a character with so much potential. Yeah, to continue the quest line of Valka, you have to create the next potion. However, to get it, like the materials needed, you have to go to Kent. But yeah, I would recommend maybe doing that later and concentrating first on alliances. Till you get like to Kent through the main story.
I'm forever grateful for your aid. Malik would never have forgiven me. Here's what I've learned. For a man such as myself, a direct assault on the cemetery would be impossible. There's simply too many guards. Instead, I'd look to blend in with the scholars who are sure to be in attendance. It may not be the most direct approach, but it's certainly safer.
Reaching Robert might prove difficult, given the number of guards around. Were I to join a group of scholars, I could make my way to him much more easily. I think we gotta save these citizens to unlock the scholars. Yeah, the alliances off-road England basically start the individual main story chapters for each like district or kind of like region.
What have I done wrong? Tell me, please.
Wait. It's the You can't escape. You still alive. Look back here.
Another minute and they would have made off.
Where is the one responsible?
What happened here?
These are dark days indeed.
Right, but yeah, that's everything done in Jerusalem. So now we can go ahead and start the assassination mission as well. So plan is to use scholars to get inside the location, and then once you get exposed, we will basically try to flee the scene and get back to the target. I'm actually not sure if it works, but since the investigation mentioned it, I'm just gonna assume it does.
When will he stop acting like a fool?
When you stop asking like a fool, maybe. Yeah, Leonardo and Mario, and some of my favorite side characters in AC2. I thought AC2 in general just had an amazing like cast of side characters. Like all of them are so memorable.
You've the scent of success about you, brother.
I've learned much about our enemy.
Share your knowledge then. Let us see what can be done with it.
Robert and his Templars walked the city. They've come to pay their respects to Majd-ud-Din. They'll attend his funeral, which means so will I.
What is this that Templars would attend his funeral?
I have yet to divine their true intentions, though I'll have a confession in time. The citizens themselves are divided. Many call for their lives. Still others insist that they are here to parley, to make peace.
Peace?
I told you. The others I've slain have said as much to me.
That would make them our allies. And yet we killed them.
Make no mistake, we are nothing like these men. Though their goal sounds noble, the means by which they'd achieve it are not. At least, that's what Al-Muallim told me.
So what is your plan?
I'll attend the funeral and confront Robert.
The sooner the better. Fortune favor your blade, brother.
Malik, before I go, there's something I should say.
Be out with it.
I've been a fool.
Normally I'd make no argument, but what is this? What are you talking about?
All this time, I never told you I was sorry. Too damn proud. You lost your arm because of me. Lost Qadar. You had every right to be angry.
I do not accept your apology.
I understand.
No, you don't. I do not accept your apology because you are not the same man who went with me into Solomon's temple. And so you have nothing to apologize for.
Malik.
Perhaps if I had not been so envious of you, I would not have been so careless myself. I'm just as much to blame.
Don't say such things.
We are one. As we share the glory of our victories, so too should we share the pain of our defeat. In this way, we grow closer. We grow stronger.
Thank you, brother.
Rest if you need to, Altair, that you might be ready for what lies ahead.
Fast-forwarding memory to a more recent one.
Robert's attending Majd-ud-Din's funeral. This is when to strike. Even Duccio, AJ. Yeah, even Duccio. I mean, he's an asshole, but he's very memorable. Duccio, good one, Levi. I wonder if that was any inspiration for the actual name of Duccio. Like, that's why they chose that. It certainly fit the character. But yeah, that conversation between Altair and Malik here was so good. Loved,
Is everything alright, brother?
Yes, everything is fine.
Then be about your mission. Every moment Robert lives is a moment longer than he deserves.
You know, the way Altair is actually apologizing for what he did, really showing that he feels regret towards his past actions, but also his character growth. And Malik kind of being like, you know, I don't accept your apology because you're not the same person anymore that you were when, you know, you ruined things. It's really great seeing how they overcome, you know, the issues together and they actually grow closer because of it. Definitely a highlight of kind of the story, I think, the whole relationship between Malik and Altair, and Malik is also gonna stay very important to Altair as like also an advisor future. Remember this conversation very well. That's good, Levi, I'm glad. Because yeah, that's a really important and a good one.
Dirty thieves, I'll have your hand for that!
I think he was one of the leaders with his trolling groups.
Hazır olunca ortaya çıkacaksın.
Come no further. Oh!
Yeah, ain't that the truth, AJ? Okay, hold up actually. I'm gonna have a look where the scholars are located again. Yeah, dude, the whole Abbas IT relationship is kind of a sad one. Because it's also just built on like a misunderstanding and Abbas not wanting to believe his father actually has done the things that he did. Okay, so scholars are over to that side. It's right here, isn't it?
إذا رأيتموه لا تدعوه. Come no further.
Please, sir, have any money?
Who's responsible for this?
Wonder if you have to save maybe these citizens to spawn the scholars, but never mind. We're just gonna go to the funeral like this.
We gather here to mourn the loss of our beloved Majd-ud-Din. Taken too soon from this world. I know you feel sorrow and pain at his passing, but you should not. For just as we are all brought forth from the womb, so too must we all one day pass from this world. It is only natural, like the rising and the setting of the sun. Take this moment to reflect on his life and give thanks for all the good he did. Know that one day you will stand with him again in paradise.
Amen.
As you know, this man was murdered. We have tried to track his killer, but it has proved difficult. These creatures cling to the shadows and run from any who would face them fairly. But not today, for it seems one stands among us. He mocks us with his presence and must be made to pay. Seize him! Bring him forward that God's justice might be done!
like, oh, cities after us immediately. But if I can even run away, technically. Not. So many archers. That's kind of nice. It's already a reveal that it's not Robert, but actually Aria disguising as Robert. But you can actually listen to her voice there. Can't really seem to lose any of the guards, to be honest. Maybe we just gotta fight her. Let's do it then.
I would see your eyes before you die.
I sense you expected someone else.
What sorcery is this?
No sorcery. We knew you'd come. Robert needed to be sure he'd have time to get away.
So he flees.
We cannot deny your success. You have laid waste to our plans. First the treasure, then our men. Control of the Holy Land slipped away. But then he saw an opportunity. To reclaim what has been stolen. To turn your victories to our advantage.
Al-Muallim still holds your treasure, and we've routed your army before. Whatever Robert plans, he'll fail again.
Ah, but it's not just Templars you'll contend with now.
Speak sense.
Robert rides for Arsa to plead his case that Saracen and Crusader unite against the Assassins.
That will never happen. They have no reason to.
Had, perhaps. But now you've given them one. 9, in fact. The bodies you've left behind, victims on both sides. You've made the Assassins an enemy in common and ensured the annihilation of your entire order. Well done.
Not 9. 8.
What do you mean?
You are not my target. I will not take your life. You're free to go, but do not follow me.
I don't need to. You're already too late.
We'll see.
Man's by Desmond.
Over here!
Yeah, that's the question. AJ? Or to where? The Scholar clothes always work wonders. Most of the time. This mission took you so long, Levy. Yeah, I don't blame you. You don't actually go for a hidden blade counter when it takes like very long to actually take down Maria. But yeah, it's very interesting part though, because IT of course doesn't expect Maria. So he actually lets her live because she isn't his target, and he's actually going to spare someone who wouldn't be one he's looking for. But Maria's also gonna play a bigger role for AC Bloodlines, which we're gonna talk about more in credit section of the game. What happens there? Yeah, the hidden blade really makes so many fights so much easier. Also against Al-Muallim at the end, when you fight all the illusions, you can just like hidden blade everyone easy. Save Battery. Welcome into it. How's it going? How have you been?
It was a trap.
I had heard the funeral turned to chaos. What happened?
Robert de Sable was never here. He sent another in his stead. He was expecting me.
You must go to Al-Mualim.
There's no time. She told me where he's gone, what he plans. If I return to Masyaf, he might succeed. And then, I fear we'll be destroyed.
We have killed most of his men. He cannot hope to mount a proper attack. Wait, did you say she?
Yes, it was a woman. Strange, I know. But that's for another time. For now, we must focus on Robert. We may have thinned his ranks, but the man is clever. He goes to plead his case to Richard and Salah ad-Din, to unite them against a common enemy. Against us.
Surely you're mistaken. This makes no sense. These two men would never...
Oh, but they would. And we have ourselves to blame. The men I've killed, men on both sides of the conflict. Men important to both leaders. Robert's plan may be ambitious, but it makes sense. And it could work.
Look, brother. Things have changed. You must return to Masyaf. We cannot act without our master's permission. It could compromise the Brotherhood. I thought you had learned this.
Stop hiding behind words, Malik. You wield the creed and its tenets like some shield. He's keeping things from us. Important things. You were the one told me we could never know anything, only suspect. Well, I suspect this business with the Templars goes deeper. When I'm done with Robert, I will ride for Masyaf that we may have answers. But perhaps you could go now.
I cannot leave the city.
Then walk amongst its people. Seek out those who served the ones I slew. Learn what you can. You call yourself perceptive. Perhaps you'll see something I could not.
I don't know. I must think on this.
Do as you must, my friend. But it's time I ride for Arsuf. Every moment I delay, our enemy gets one step ahead of me.
Be careful, brother.
I will be. I promise.
Robert was never at the funeral. I've been deceived. Robert has long since left Jerusalem. Arsuf is his destination, and so it will be mine as well. I only hope I will not be too late. If Robert succeeds in convincing Richard and Salah ad-Din we are the enemy, the assassins will be destroyed. We cannot withstand the combined might of the Saracen and the Crusader armies. Yeah, I'm good, Badri. Had a nice weekend playing some more AC. It's a good time. AJ and Ezio and Ellie AC2 with the counter help at Wo. Super fun, easy kill. Be careful, my brother. Yeah, dude. I really like the kind of like counter animations for fistfights. It's nice they added that into AC2 since it wasn't in AC1. Also like how you can hold the enemy and then, you know, like headbutt them like that. Okay, there's no extra conversation with Malik, so we can just go and leave for Arsuf.
I need help! Please, anyone! You'll find everything here.
Oh yeah, AJ. I love the music that plays for that mission so much.
God's sake, tell me why he's gone mad.
Hey, the Waffle. Welcome in, dude. How are you doing this day? Yeah, it's going good, dude. We're about to finish AC1 here. Basically in the last chapter at this point. And then it's off to AC2. Oh yeah.
Preparation is crucial to your success.
Shit, dude. You lost your wallet? That really sucks. I hope you're gonna find it back, dude. Hopefully you manage to find and track back to where potentially got lost. I think it fell out of your jacket pocket and someone yoinked it. Damn. Dude, I hope it's not bad. Shit. Wrong way.
Il ne doit pas s'échapper. Poursuivez-le. Plus vite.
Yeah, to manage to say, just tell him no. What the fuck? Didn't record that conversation, did you? I would assume you didn't, but...
Prévenez-moi.
Yeah, no worries whatsoever, AJ. Take your time, dude. Maybe catch you later. And yeah, enjoy your lurk.
Selecting the hidden blade during fight will allow you.
Yeah, I mean, either way, Waffle, that's kind of fucked up. I hope you will be able to resolve that.
Kime boyun eğmek istiyorsun? Bu tarafta kaçmasına izin vermeyin geber kafir. İşte kaçıyor. Gel buraya.
Yeah, no kidding, Waffle. The timing of that is really unfortunate.
How is this possible?
So this part basically throws like a whole lot of guards at you. And you gotta battle through all of them. And that throws you into the war, like between the fronts essentially. Look at all these enemies.
Kime boyun Seni gözüm kapalı bile yener. Beni yenemeyecek.
How can one expect to defeat me? I take you down! How simple. Maybe you haven't lost none of that, but you've already lost. I'll get you! Yeah!
Kime boyun eğmek istiyorsun? Prévenez-moi si vous l'apercevez. C'est trop facile. Tu me fais perdre mon temps. Tu vas me le payer cher. Le Seigneur me donne la force dont j'ai besoin. Les flammes de l'enfer vont te dévorer.
Come on, take me.
C'est un mur. Ma colère sera terrible. Je vais t'étriper. Tu vas me payer cher.
Cameraman hiding in the bushes. Yeah, gotta stay out of sight of the second camera, right? Hiding in the bushes. Gotta love all the dynamic cameramans. Alright. Made it. Time to talk to King Richard and try to convince him that Robert de Sable is actually his enemy, not the assassins.
Come no further. Hold a moment. It's words I bring, not steel.
Offering terms of surrender then? It's about time.
You misunderstand. It's Al-Mualim who sends me, not Salah ad-Din.
Assassin! What is the meaning of this? And be quick with it!
You've a traitor in your midst.
And he has hired you to kill me? Come to gloat about it before you strike? I wouldn't be taken so easily!
It's not you I've come to kill. It's him.
Speak then! That I may judge the truth! Who is this traitor?
Robert de Sable.
My lieutenant!
He aims to betray.
That's not the way he tells it. He seeks revenge against your people for the havoc you've wrought in Acre. And I am inclined to support him. Some of my best men were murdered by some of yours.
It was I who killed them, and for good reason. Hear me out. William of Montferrat. He sought to use his soldiers to take Acre by force. Gagné de Naplouse. He would use his skills to indoctrinate and control any who resisted. Sabran. He intended to block the ports, preventing your kingdom from providing aid. They betrayed you, and they took their orders from Robert.
You expect me to believe this outlandish tale?
You knew these men, better than I. Are you truly surprised to learn of their ill intentions?
Is this true?
My liege, it is an assassin that stands before us. These creatures are masters of manipulation. Of course it isn't true.
I've no reason to deceive.
Oh, but you do. You're afraid of what will happen to your little fortress. Can it withstand the combined might of the Saracen and the Crusader army?
My concern is for the people of the Holy Land. If I must sacrifice myself for there to be peace, so be it.
This is a strange place we find ourselves in. Each of you accusing the other.
There really is no time for this. I must be off to meet with Saladin and enlist his aid. The longer we delay, the harder this will become.
Hold a moment, Robert.
Why? What do you intend? Surely you do not believe him?
It is a difficult decision, one I cannot make alone. I must leave it in the hands of one wiser than I.
Thank you.
No, Robert, not you.
Then who?
The Lord. Let this be decided by combat. Surely God will side with the one whose cause is righteous.
If this is what you wish.
It is.
So be it. To arms, assassin. Un assassinat peut donner la forme. Fais se clencher la tête.
Love how Richard says, I have to leave it to someone wiser than me. Robert's like, thank you. It's like, no, not you, Robert.
Ma colère sera terrible. Je vais t'étriper. The time for games is ended.
It's done then. Your schemes, like you, are put to rest.
You know nothing of schemes. You're but a puppet. He betrayed you, boy. Just as he betrayed me.
Speak sense, Templar. Or not at all.
9 men he sent you to kill, yes? The 9 who guarded the treasure's secret.
What of it?
It wasn't 9 who found the treasure, assassin. Not 9, but 10.
A 10th? None may live who carry the secret. Give me his name.
Oh, but you know him well. And I doubt very much you'd take his life as willingly as you've taken mine.
Who?
It is your master, Al-Mualim.
But he is not a Templar.
Did you never wonder how it is he knew so much? Where to find us, how many we numbered, what we aspired to attain?
He is the master of the assassins.
Oui, master of lies. You and I just 2 more pawns in his grand game. And now, with my death, only you remain. Do you think he'll let you live, knowing what you do?
I've no interest in the treasure.
Ah, but he does. The only difference between your master and I is that he did not want to share. Ironic, isn't it? That I, your greatest enemy, kept you safe from harm. But now you've taken my life, and in the process, ended your own.
Off a plot twist there.
Well fought, assassin! It seems God favors your cause this day.
God had nothing to do with it. I was the better fighter.
Ah, you may not believe in him, but it seems he believes in you. Before you go, I have a question.
Ask it then.
Why? Why travel all this way? Risk your life 1,000 times, all to kill a single man.
He threatened my brothers and what we stand for.
Ah, vengeance then?
No, not vengeance. Justice, that there might be peace.
This is what you fight for? Peace? Do you see the contradiction?
Some men cannot be reasonable.
Like that madman, Saladin.
I think he'd like to see an end to this war as much as you.
So I've heard, but never seen.
Even if he doesn't say it, it's what the people want. Saracen and Crusader alike.
The people know not what they want. It's why they turn to men like us.
Then it falls to men like you to do what is right.
Nonsense. We come into the world kicking and screaming, violent and unstable. It is what we are. We cannot help ourselves.
No. We are what we choose to be.
Your kind. Always playing with words.
I speak the truth. There's no trick to be found here.
We'll know soon enough. But I fear you cannot have what you desire this day. Even now, that heathen Saladin cuts through my men and I must attend to them. But perhaps, having seen how vulnerable he is, he will reconsider his actions. Yes. In time, what you seek may be possible.
You were no more secure than him. Do not forget that. The men you left behind to rule in your stead did not intend to serve you for longer than they had to.
Yes. I am well aware.
Then I'll take my leave. My master and I have much to discuss. It seems that even he is not without fault.
He is only human, as are we all. You as well.
Safety and peace be upon you.
Al-Mualim is a 10th Templar. This cannot be. Officers have looked to him for strength and guidance. His word has always been truth. And now I'm told it's all been a lie? No. Even in death, Robert seeks to poison my mind. What does he? I remember the careful way in which the master avoided my questions, changed the subject when I dug too deep. Was it deference he sought to teach me, or blind obedience? Willful ignorance of the truth. There is but one way to answer these questions. I must seek Al-Mualim. So, turns out that Al-Mualim is actually the 10th Templar, and he has made a pact with the other 9. However, Al-Mualim decided that the treasure is better in his hands, and that's why he sends out Altair not to redeem himself, but to kill off the other 9 witnesses, essentially. Ensuring he's the only one knowing of the treasure, and that would give him like total control over the knowledge that it contains as well.
I said get up, goddammit! Listen!
Oh no.
Seems your assassin friends found us.
What?
How'd you do it, Desmond?
Hey, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever's going on down there has got nothing to do with me.
They're here for you, and I sure as shit didn't invite them. What's the situation down there?
We're taking heavy fire.
Can you contain it? Or do I need to evacuate the prisoner?
Only 5 or 6. We've got them outnumbered. Couple of wounded, but we'll pull through. We'll get it under control.
God damn you, Desmond. You couldn't leave well enough alone.
I told you I had nothing to do with this. How would I even contact them? Telepathy? Come on.
Doesn't matter. They'll be dead soon enough. Here, have a listen.
That's been neutralized.
Looks like the cavalry won't be coming.
Dunno, Doc. We're freaking out a minute ago. Your little research facility not as secure as you thought it was? Worried they'll be back with more?
I don't think so, Desmond.
What Lucy here is trying to say is that there aren't any assassins left to come for you. We've been very busy this past year, hunting down your little enclaves, your desert communes and whatnot. I'm afraid you're on your own. Rest up, Mr. Miles. Tomorrow, we finish this.
Wow. So Desmond didn't get saved successfully. Rather, they actually killed the assassins that tried to save Desmond and Lucy. And again, you could argue it's a bit Lucy's fault because Lucy kind of like asked them for help.
Where's the lamb sauce?
Come on, man.
I just need it.
This is the lamb
Where's
sauce.
the lamb
That's the lamb
sauce?
sauce. Right here, chef. I
Lamb
have
sauce
it.
is coming up.
Yeah. Where is it?
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Hey there, Mr. Goody. Welcome in, dude. How's it going?
I'm sorry, Desmond.
You mentioned the desert. Do you think...
They sent a team there, but the place was deserted. I don't know where your parents are, and I can't promise they're still alive. But I think they got away.
Thanks. Thanks for checking.
It's not as bad as it seems.
What are you talking about? They just killed, literally killed, my only chance of getting out of here. And then I find out the assassins are all but destroyed, and Christ, I still don't know what these people are planning. But I do know they plan to kill me when they're done. I am screwed, okay? What do you want me to do?
Just try and have a little faith. Have faith. Rest up, Desmond. You're gonna need the energy.
She's like, I'm an assassin, you can trust me. But actually, I'm just a Templar plot device, and I betray the assassins, and I work for a Templar secretly, pretending to be a betrayer of the Templars. But actually working with them. Mr. Goody, when Toxic Body is here, Goat has arrived. That's true. I know when there's a lamb sauce followed by Buddy McGuire, that's a cue for you being here. Yeah, so fun fact, she's actually not, like her finger isn't missing, she just kind of like hid it, basically, to give him the clue, but she's not missing a finger or something. Yeah, fortunately at this point in time it's not required anymore to lose your ring finger or the hidden blade. Imagine though, if you still had to do that. From Alan Ricken regarding additional subjects. Warren. If this kid isn't going to get us what we need, it's time to start looking elsewhere. I've CC'd David from our acquisitions department. He may be able to provide you with a couple of additional test subjects should Desmond be retired. In case you need reminding, we are running out of time. The scrap of a fluoride enhancement is going to put us under a lot of scrutiny. We need to launch on the 21st. If we wait any longer, we risk everything being frozen during the investigation. I have a feeling that none of our friends in DC are going to do us any favors on this one. We deal with them come election time. We've cleaned up the mess at DIA, but I'm hearing there's some jackass Becca Chandler trolling news groups and nutjob websites with his tales of mass murder and corporate cover-ups. Where's he even getting his information from? The reports say the project lead killed everyone down there before our cleanup crews arrived. I still don't understand how they managed to botch that so badly. Anyway, we're trying to figure out who the hell he is so we can shut him up, but it's proving difficult. I'm beginning to wonder if he doesn't have help. It seems there are still a couple of those assassin bastards running loose. It only takes one, but you already knew that. Makes me wonder if a fluoride leak was internal after all. And if it was, are we dealing with a whistleblower or something worse? I'm about ready to pull the plug on your subject 17, see if I get me the results or get another person into that animus. Ellen. So he's really pushing Warren to kind of like finish IT's memories with Desmond, and Desmond is to be retired, which in abstract terms means to be killed, essentially. Daily headlines. Mexican president promises better border security. Concerned about record numbers of illegal immigrants entering his country, the president of Mexico today promised to ramp up border security. The number of troops stationed along the border is expected to triple. Opponents are worried about an increase in violence between American refugees and Mexican troops. Fighting between the two groups has left 300 dead and nearly 1,000 wounded over the past 6 months. And then we have the email regarding the conference room, so we now have access to that. Vidic says, it isn't working, remote access is down or something. Can you look and see what's wrong? Don't have time for this crap. Lucy says, hi Warren, the passcode has changed last night. They change them once a week. Do you have a new passcode? No, what is it? 102-819-43. And that's how we get into the conference room, and that's how we access the computer. Okay, nothing new here. Yeah. Okay, so that means we only have the conference room left, basically. And that should be all the emails as well. Alan Rickon analysis. Oren. The others and I have finished reviewing the Animus recordings from subjects 12 to 16. While the Peace of Eden remains our priority, we must all continue working to locate and understand the remaining artifacts. I'm sure you can understand our reasoning behind this. Although the satellite is intended to accomplish a fair portion of the work for us, we will certainly need to deal with those who are either immune to or protected from its effects. Please take a moment to look over our findings and get back to me with any feedback you may have. I will summarize below. 1. Piece of Eden number 3. We applaud your continued efforts to locate an alternate artifact following this, the loss of number 2 in the DIA satellite accident. We understand Subject 17 is having trouble interfacing with the Animus, leading to delays. As a result, we estimate another 24 hours before your next critical update. In the meantime, we'll prepare an extraction team and set them to stand by. We're relying on you to obtain the additional information we require. He knows where the other objects are, even if he doesn't realize it. You must unlock that final memory, or all of this will have been for nothing. 2nd. The Philadelphia Project. Data provided from Animus Subject 12 indicates that the ship briefly manifested in a future state for approximately 18 minutes. It is unclear whether the timeline is consistent or parallel to our own. Although we have recovered enough data to reconstruct and repair the original artifact used in the experiment, administration has refused to move forward on the project, citing paradox concerns. Corporate policy remains in place. Any object found to interfere with or manipulate time must be contained. Artifact will be moved to secure storage. So that's the artifact I talked about earlier, where these two also use them to kind of like predict future scenarios. Only they could actually see, thousands of years into the future. Whereas for Philadelphia Project, they only gotten up to 18 minutes. 3rd, the Tunguska Incident. Now believed to be the direct result of assault by assassins. Research station destroyed as was artifact. Alternate wave generation devices have been located in storage, but we have insufficient data at the moment to initiate research. The risk of accident is too high. Lineage Discovery and Acquisition Division should attempt to locate descendants of any attack survivors, either Assassin or Brotherhood, in order to continue research. Resurrecting this particular type of technology will aid us greatly with any holdouts following the satellite's activation. We're putting together a team to push research in this area. 4. The Grail. We are removing the Grail from our list of objectives. There is insufficient evidence to confirm its existence. Current examination of Subject 17 indicates that aside from the Peace of Eden, all other artifacts related to Christ's figure are literary devices or derived from pieces of Eden, and not actual objects. Even if the object is real, its use to us at this stage is negligible. Our resources are better used elsewhere. So that's kind of like a shade on the whole like Jesus story, right? Because there's also like this whole fascination with the grail that Jesus had at the Last Supper, and a lot of crusaders apparently looked for it. It's kind of like a holy quest or something, and they're basically saying in the AC lore, that's just been an imaginary object that didn't actually exist. Rather, Jesus, used the piece of Eden, like the apple, to create the illusions of the miracles that people thought he performed. Ooh, some chicken parma, Mr. Goody. Hell yeah. Definitely go for some chicken parma. Mitchell Hedges communicators. Analysis of the object is complete. The good news is that they work. As a result, we now have a safe and secure communication channel for use after the launch. However, they are severely limited in number, and so we will be providing them only to our most essential facilities. You will obviously retain possession of the one you have. Warren, I cannot stress how important it is that you wrap things up with Subject 17 as soon as possible. We're obviously relieved that you seem to be closing in on the target memory, but you need to step it up. Everything we're working towards depends on you retrieving these locations. Without them, we've got nothing. May the Father of Understanding guide you to success. Ellen Riggin. And there you go. That's like basically all the plans and research major stuff that Abstergo does in 2012. So they're looking for the Apple of Eden. They talk about the time manipulation artifact that can look into the future, the Tunguska Incident and how the assassins were involved in it, the Holy Grail being like a hoax, the Mitchell Hedges communicators, and that they will be used to kind of like communicate with each other after the 21st of December. And yeah, then basically the times of the essence. They have to get going with Desmond's memories. Basically got to finish it by tomorrow. And size frozen ones, Mr. Goody. That sounds like a massive chicken parma.
Get up.
Even earlier than usual, Doc.
I'd like to get this over with as quickly as possible.
If you say so.
Don't be so glum, Mr. Miles. Today is a historic day. One that will be remembered for years to come. Remembered by some of us, anyway.
Well, it's like it won't survive tomorrow, so it can't remember anything. Yeah, we still haven't gotten Eco Vision. That comes post-credits scene. Ooh, meatballs. Oh yeah. Made like a meatball pasta on the weekend, and it was so damn delicious.
Lie down, damn it!
Yeah, chill. Alright, time to finish this.
Use free running to escape from a fight when exploding.
Where is everyone?
Gone to see the Master.
Was it the Templars? Did they attack again?
They walk the path.
What path? What are you talking about?
Towards the light.
Speak sense.
There is only what the Master shows us. This is the truth.
You've lost your mind.
You too will walk the path, or you will perish. So the Master commands.
It was Al-Mualim, wasn't it? What's he done to you?
Praise be to the Master, for he has led us to the light.
So, Al-Mualim now that all the Templar targets are dealt with, and he's the only one knowing of the Abo. Now it's the time to actually use the Abo and try to control the village of Masyaf as like a first experiment, so to say, to kind of like see if he would actually achieve peace by doing so.
Oh, Mualim, guide us, command us.
Yeah, at the same time he would only rob them of like any wish of conflict, but he also rob them of their minds and souls.
Oh, Mualim, guide us, command us.
We have leftovers like 10 minutes ago. Oh yeah. Did you still enjoy the levy?
The world will be cleansed. We will begin anew.
You got a webcam for streaming and it works okay, it's just a sheepy for now. Oh, nice, basically. That's good. Which one did you go for?
The world will be cleansed. We will begin anew.
Yeah, it's definitely different to like traditional Bolognese. Better served fresh than
Only speak, Master,
a day later.
and show us the path.
I got you, Mr. Goody. That's fair enough. Yeah, if it works for now, that's good.
Altair, up here!
Malik and the boys are here. Oh yeah. Thank you for the host, Mr. Goody.
You picked a fine time to arrive.
So it seems.
Guard yourself well, friend. Al-Mualim has betrayed us.
Yes. Betrayed his Templar allies as well.
How do you know?
After we spoke, I returned to the ruins beneath Solomon's temple. Robert had kept a journal, filled its pages with revelations. What I read there broke my heart. But it also opened my eyes. You were right, Altair. All along, our master has used us. We were not meant to save the Holy Land, but deliver it to him. He must be stopped.
Be careful, Malik. What he's done to the others, he'll do to us given the chance. You must stay far from him.
What would you propose? My blade arm is still strong and my men remain my own. It would be a mistake not to use us.
Distract these thralls then. Assault the fortress from behind. If you can draw their attention away from me, I might reach Al-Mualim.
I will do as you ask, Dai.
The men we face. Their minds are not their own. If you can avoid killing them.
Yes. Though he has betrayed the tenets of the Creed, it does not mean we must as well. I'll do what I can.
It's all I ask. Safety and peace, my friend.
Your presence here will deliver us both.
Love that line. Your presence here will deliver us both. Because at the very start, when you first get to Jerusalem and meet with Malik, that's what Ati also says, you know, safety and peace. And Malik is like, your presence here will deprive us of both. And it also showcases, you know, how much the perception of each other has changed. How they even, you know, got like a friendship at the end of the game. But that's great how we use like the same phrase, just completely opposite.
There are so many innocents. I must be careful not to harm them.
What a coward Amolim is. Surrounding himself with all these innocents.
What's happening?
So, the student returns.
I've never been one to run.
Never been one to listen either.
I still live because of it.
What will I do with you?
Let me go.
Oh, Altair. I hear the hatred in your voice. Feel its heat. Let you go? Well, that would be unwise.
Why are you doing this?
I found proof.
Proof of what?
That nothing is true. And everything is permitted. Come. Destroy the betrayer. Send him from this world.
Fighting over 9 targets again. This time by Lucians.
Face me! Or are you afraid?
I have stood before 1,000 men, all of them superior to you, and all of them dead, by my hand. I am not afraid.
Prove it.
What could I possibly fear? Look at the power I command.
I think that's the one.
final words?
You lied to me. Called Robert's goal foul when all along it was yours as well.
I've never been much good at sharing.
You won't succeed. Others will find the strength to stand against you.
And this is why, so long as men maintain free will, there can be no peace.
I killed the last man who spoke as such.
Bold words, boy. But just words.
Then let me go. I'll put words into action. Tell me, Master, why did you not make me like the other assassins? Why allow me to retain my mind?
Who you are and what you do are twined too tight together. To rob you of one would have deprived me of the other. And those Templars had to die. But the truth is, I did try. In my study, when I showed you the treasure. But you are not like the others. You saw through the illusion.
Illusion?
That's all it's ever done. This Templar treasure, this piece of Eden, this word of God. Do you understand now? The Red Sea was never parted. Water never turned to wine. It was not the machinations of Iris that spawned the Trojan War, but this! Illusions! All of them!
What you plan is no less an illusion. To force men to follow you against their will.
Is it any less real than the phantoms the Saracens and Crusaders follow now? Those craven gods who retreat from this world that men might slaughter one another in their names? They live amongst an illusion already. I'm simply giving them another. One that demands less blood.
At least they choose these phantoms.
Or do they? Aside from the occasional convert or heretic?
It isn't right.
Ah, and now logic has left you. In its place, you embrace emotion. I am disappointed.
What's to be done then?
You will not follow me, and I cannot compel you.
And you refuse to give up this evil scheme.
It seems then we are at an impasse.
No, we are at an end.
I will miss you, Altair. You were my very best student. Impossible. The student does not defeat the teacher.
الشيء واقع مطلق بل كل ممكن.
So it seems. You have won then. Go and claim your prize.
You held fire in your hand, old man. It should have been destroyed.
Destroy the only thing capable of ending the Crusades and creating true peace? Never.
Then I will.
We'll see about that. I applied my heart to know wisdom, and to know madness and folly. I perceived that this also was a chasing after wind, for in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge, increaseth sorrow.
I love that quote so much. Kind of like one thing that Amalim, you know, wrote as a memory inside the apple, and now IT is hearing it. He who increases knowledge increases sorrow. It's so good when you first play this, you never knew to hit a button where those white lines came on the screen. What white lines? So Mr. Good is talking about the chemical formulas that pop up every now and then, especially during cutscenes. During cutscenes you can press a button and it will kind of give you these more like cinematic camera angles. If you don't press the button you just stay with it the entire time. They're called enemies glitches actually. Yeah, they're actually good because again it's about giving the player freedom to express themselves even during cutscenes. So you can kind of like choose if you want to have more cinematicness or not by interacting during the cutscene. But yeah, I've gone for every single enemy glitch, and it's kind of nice because it also makes you pay more attention to the cutscene. it really increases engagement, I think.
Destroy it! Destroy it, as you said you would.
I can't.
Yes, you can, Altair. But you won't.
We've got it.
I got chills.
What the hell was that?
Well? We've got the map.
How many?
At least half a dozen.
We don't need them all.
We should assume some amount of decay. I can't imagine they'll all still be functioning. At least 2 appear to reside on land masses that no longer exist.
We'll dispatch teams to each site and determine viability. We only need 1, after all.
What about the rest?
Collect them. Let's not leave anything to chance. Last thing we need is some damn survivor making trouble for us in the new world.
And the assassin?
We have what we need. Kill him.
Wait. You know how these things work. I doubt we'll be able to walk right in.
What's your point?
We might need him. His memories. I'd recommend we hold him until we have confirmation that there aren't any surprises waiting for us at the sites.
This is a waste of time.
You said it yourself. We shouldn't leave anything to chance.
Very well. Ensure we have no further need of him, then kill him.
Fine. Stop undermining my authority!
I just saved your ass.
Let's go. We've got a lot of work to do. Don't get too comfortable, Mr. Miles. We'll be back for you soon enough.
What the hell is that?
That is Desmond actually learning the Eagle Vision, because he's synchronized with Altair. And now that he fully synchronized with all of his memories, at least the ones that were important so far, he actually received the gift of Eagle Vision that Altair also had. And with that he can now actually access different symbols that you can find in this enemy's room, but also in his room. And they're all kind of like codes and messages that Subject 16, aka Clay Kismeric, left behind. And all of those are kind of like meant to guide you and to give you hints towards what's happening with the catastrophe, but also the memories that he has gotten into during his anime session. This barcode is actually something we can find in AC2 as a glyph. This one is on the Monterigioni villa. There's so many messages behind this blood. Actually quite a few. The pyramid is always a very important symbol as well, because it represents the hierarchy the Templars seek, right? Like here as well. Here you have the pyramid in combination with the apple. And the apple is of course the all-controlling eye, so to say, over the masses. And that's what the pyramid stands for, right? The very few at the top control the masses. And that's where the Templars see themselves. Yeah, I mean, he committed suicide after all, so he used like all the blood he had available before dying. And of course, we all cleaned it, but the DNA Desmond still can see. But yeah, now there's nothing more left to do than look at this wall. And that's also where AC2 will start.
Oh my god. It looks like... Is that blood? What the hell were they keeping here before me? And what happened to him? What does it mean, I wonder?
And there we go. And that is the end of AC1. Find that out later in the game, Desmond. Yeah. See you in the next one for the answers. Okay, one sec actually. I wanna turn up the volume a little bit because it's actually quite loud. How many times is it now? I mean, like, how many times I beat this game? Yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't really count the amount of times I play them. I just enjoy them. But, yeah. It's been really good to get back into it and, you know, start all the way back where the series started. It's actually crazy to believe that this game gets 15 years old this year. But yeah, it holds up so well. But yeah, so what we're gonna do next is we're actually not gonna be watching Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. Rather, I'm just gonna do a quick summary of what happens in Bloodlines, and then we're gonna head straight to the Assassin's Creed Lineage and AC2 part of today's stream. But yeah, what basically happens after AC1 is that Altair receives the Apple of Eden, right? That he got from Al-Mualim, and he starts to like study it. And everything that he gets to know from the Apple, he writes down in the Codex, which you actually see in Bloodlines, and Altair, you know, using it as kind of like a journal. The Codex is really important for AC2 because it's gonna be the way Ezio learns a lot of the stuff, and the way Leonardo finds out a lot about the kind of like additional tools that Altair will be able to use. So Bloodlines has that importance with the Codex. But then Bloodlines also tells about the story of Altair at Maria. Maria, of course, being the one we saw earlier today, that were like was like disguised as a decoy for Robert de Sable. And Altair actually rescues Maria multiple times, but Maria is still antagonistic to him, given that you know, she's a Templar and he's an assassin. But eventually they you know, start to talk a lot, and they kind of like also talk about the contradictions of both the assassins and the Templars. But Altair ultimately shows her that you know, he has good intentions, and shows also the flaws of the Templars and how they seek to enslave everyone in order to achieve their goals. Plus, Maria actually gets mistreated by the Templars quite a lot. Like, there's a lot of misogynistic people in Bloodlines as well that don't really accept her as a proper Templar just because she's a woman. So that's why she also decides to switch sides. And hey Vetamize, welcome in, dude. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. I hope you had a great stream today. Ava Max, welcome back. How's it going? How was your stream today? What did you play? yeah, we just couldn't finish with AC1. And yeah, that means we're gonna be soon starting AC2 as well tonight. So, what did you play today, Demise? There's the wall again. I'm actually gonna talk more about what is on the wall once we get to AC2. So we're gonna make a deep dive into all the symbols and what is written on the wall by then.
Whoa! Damn, man, look at that, look!
Oh damn, you finished Far Cry Primal? Hell yeah, dude. Congratulations on finishing the game.
Yeah, Mr. White! Yes, science!
Yes, science. Bitch. But yeah, how did you like Primal overall?
The lamb sauce!
Come on, man.
I just need a...
This is the lamb
Where's
sauce.
the lamb sauce?
Right here, chef. Lamb sauce is coming up.
Where's the lamb sauce? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed Primal overall. So now that you finished that game, have you decided what you're gonna be playing next to kind of like replace Far Cry Primal? Under the Animus. Yeah, the Animus is powered by lamb sauce, right? Like everything you can see down here, these kind of like tubes and stuff. There's actually lamb sauce flowing into the Animus, powering the device, making it possible for Desmond to relive IT's memories. Yeah, it's like steaming. You enjoyed it, to be honest. 3-0 favorite, but the 3 is a nice change. That's good, dude. I thought it was quite interesting. Definitely the one intriguing me the most, given that it's a very historical one. At least the setting is maybe not historically accurate, but that's another topic, I guess. But yeah, I really enjoyed it for, you know, being much more back to like bow and spear rather than, you know, using like actual like guns and stuff. But yeah, that's good. I'm glad you enjoyed the game so far. But yeah, I was just talking about Bloodlines, what basically happens there, since we're not going to be watching the video of like all the cutscenes for Bloodlines. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to put the video for the cutscenes into my YouTube playlist for the 2022 annual playthrough. And yeah, then people will have a, you know, way to watch it like that if I want to go back into my videos or want to have a look at Bloodlines like that. But yeah, obviously that whole Maria-Altair relationship is extremely important. Eventually Altair convinces Maria to leave the Templars behind. She doesn't yet join the Assassins, and they also don't really fall in love with each other yet. But everything is set up in a way where that's like possible, and they travel together to India after they've been to Cyprus to deal with the Templars. What also happens is that Altair for the first time actually uses the Apple of Eden, but not to cause disturbance, but rather to mind control the people as to not attack him. So it doesn't actually cause like any deaths or something, but he does use it to get out of a situation. But yeah, apart from that, it's like everything that is important. So like the codex that he writes, his relationship to Maria, and that he used the apple but took it with him. So yeah, that's kind of like Bloodlines in a nutshell, essentially. Last year I actually streamed Bloodlines for the first time ever. But I didn't want to do it this time because it feels kind of like a step backwards with the gameplay and stuff, given that it's developed for the PlayStation Portable, I think, wasn't it? So yeah, just gonna skip it, but I think that kind of like story summary should suffice, and once that becomes important again, we can just talk about Bloodlines once more, like Revelations or something, when Maria's gonna reappear. But also in AC2 when we see that memory of Altair and her on the tower. So next you're gonna be having Brotherhood. Hell yeah, dude. I'm actually really excited for you to play Brotherhood. Very curious to see how you like it. I have a feeling you might enjoy it. like the way they do the open world and the whole like Brotherhood system and stuff. But yeah, we see. Yeah, the PlayStation Portable. Old times. Your connection is really poor. Damn.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Yeah, Bully McGuire never cares. Not even over a poor connection. But yeah, I hope it gets better soon, Max. That's always sucky when that happens. But yeah, guys, that's basically everything we have left for the game. I mean, we can have a look on the laptops, but I'm quite sure that's everything there is. Yeah, that's everything here. Except we also shouldn't have anything new. Did you get good internet when you fix this damn door? Oh, better work on the door then, Max. Okay, that's actually new. Talks continue regarding aftermath of L11 outbreak. Nearly 6 years later, little progress has been made in dealing with the repercussions of what history books are referred to as the Second Plague. With nearly 96% of its population decimated over a 3-month period, the continent of Africa is now virtually uninhabited. Plans to divide up the continent have met with strong resistance and claims of neo-colonialism. One protester had this to say: "Whether we are 100 or 100 million, this is still our home and no one has the right to take it from us." So they basically, like Abstergo basically caused a plague on the entirety of Africa, so they could inhabit the land and take it for themselves, essentially. Because that's the Templars for you. It's actually something I kind of wish later AC games would reference to, that, you know, basically Africa lost 96% of its population. I mean, that's a pretty big deal, but it's not really mentioned anymore. That shows you what the Templars or Abstergo, you know, would do just to get what they want. Ooh, there's also one regarding Subject 16. From Lucy Stillman. Warren, I finished my report on Subject 16. You should take a look when you have some time, as I believe it validates my belief that we need to be treating them with greater care. Failure to do so will only result in further breakdowns. I summarize things for now since I realize you're probably pretty busy. Prolonged exposure to the enemies caused a bleeding effect within Subject 16 genetic structure. The result was a blending of genetic and real-time memory. He became unable to distinguish his own life from those of his ancestors, as witnessed with the incident in his room. I believe this effect is very similar to certain forms of multiple personality and delusional disorders. People who claim to be experiencing past lives of the presence of other minds within their own are quite possibly experiencing a naturally occurring version of this bleeding effect. Although the specific symptoms may vary from subject to subject, the end result is the same. They lose their minds. This is what I believe happened to Subject 16. One of his ancestors seems to have been involved in an important event in the ancient Far East. The war writings has left us defy any conventional explanation, but I'm not ready to dismiss them just yet. Per your request, I've asked for a linguist and historian to research them further, in case there is some significance. I'll let you know if they come back to us with anything. I'll get you a full copy of the report so that you can review my findings when you have the time. I know this is not very important to you, Warren, but it would mean a whole lot to me if you would just take a look and think about it. We don't need to punish them, to push them so hard. We don't need to kill them. From a purely practical perspective, there's no point in destroying the subjects anyway. Once they're dead, their knowledge is lost to us forever, and we both know how dangerous that can be. Thanks for your time, Lucy. That kind of shows you why Lucy is between the lines of the Templars and Assassins. She's, you know, kind of like trying to find a more humane way to deal with the subjects. She's kind of like trying to protect people like Desmond, but at the same time she's also, you know, still wanting to find out what the Templars also want to find out about. And it's the first time talking about the bleeding effect either, which kind of like shifts together the memories of an ancestor with your own reality. And she kind of talks about it like, for example, schizophrenia would be a form of a bleeding effect. So instead of a mental illness, it's more like, you know, something that is actually real to them, because they do remember a memory of, for example, an ancestor naturally. And those memories are real. It just shouldn't be happening in their reality. But that doesn't mean what they see is like wrong, something. It's kind of interesting how it also addresses, you know, mental illness in a way, drawing a bridge between the bleeding effect of the animus and those conditions. Okay, let's also have a look at the conference room laptop, and that should be the last bit of lore, if there is any. And yeah, it really is wild, Levy. Like, what the Templar have done, like, only in AC1 already, like what is revealed in the modern day computers, really showcases you that not really somebody you should root for at all. Like, I literally just want the catastrophe to happen on 21st of December, so they can come out and just take over the new world. So they don't care if 99% of the population dies, essentially. Alright, nothing new here. So that means that is everything there is to do in Assassin's Creed for our playthrough. So yeah, we've done all the viewpoints, all the Templars, all the investigations, all the enemy stitches, all the modern day computers. So that's everything what to do for this playthrough. Hell yeah. Thank you, Demise, Levy, Max, appreciate it. But yeah, now that we have finished AC1 though, we're not yet done for today. Rather, I would like to keep on going and also make a start on Assassin's Creed 2. However, I would need a few minutes to set that up, and before we also jump into the game, we're gonna be watching Assassin's Creed Lineage, which I actually have on DVD, so we're gonna watch it from there. And yeah, I'm kind of like gonna take a break during Lineage, I think, mostly. But I will need a short break as well, set everything up for AC2, so I'll probably see you guys in like 5 minutes or so, and then we're gonna jump into some AC Lineage. Indeed, dude, I'm hyped for AC2, and I'm pretty much gonna be doing a completionist run, so it's gonna be very in-depth indeed. But yeah, let's go ahead and quit the game here. Alright, let me go ahead and already change the wallpaper slides here. Nice. But yeah guys, I will be back in like 5 minutes, and then we're gonna be watching some of AC Lineage before we jump into AC2. So yeah, see you in a few.